The episode begins with a person walking down the street on their way to Kishiro's house. Then we see Kishiro at his home, where a late rent notice arrives. Kishiro gets angry because he has no money at all. Mashiro appears, boastfully telling him she has a lot of money and could lend him some if he wants. Kishiro tells her to stop joking, asking how much money a child like her could possibly have. She tells him that she easily has about 500 yen. Kishiro gets angry at her because, for a moment, he had gotten his hopes up. Suddenly, a man enters and asks them, "Is this the Nagumo agency?" Kishiro and Mashiro are startled. Before the young man can speak, Mashiro screams in his face, calling him a thief. He insists that he isn't a thief. She asks him how he got in when the door was locked. He informs her that it was quite easy, as he was able to open the door thanks to his lock-picking skills. Mashiro continues to scream at him furiously. The young man apologizes to them and then introduces himself as Asunaro Yu. He explains that he's a high school detective and his nature compels him to investigate anything. Mashiro angrily tells him that he shouldn't go around picking people's locks and treating it like it's a puzzle. At that moment, Kishiro is shocked. He recognizes him as the great detective Asunaro, who he sees on TV a lot. He's the top detective in the spotlight right now. Asunaro tells him that he's nowhere near his level. Kishiro asks him what brought him here. Asunaro doesn't answer, instead thinking to himself that it's been 10 minutes since his arrival and no one has even offered him coffee. So much for hospitality. Mashiro brings him a cup of coffee. Asunaro is perplexed, as most hosts serve coffee with milk and sugar on the side unless it's requested black. He wonders what this is supposed to mean. He then tells them he came today for one reason and one reason only: Kishiro. He wants to hire him as his assistant. Mashiro angrily retorts that he already has an assistant and doesn't need anyone else. Kishiro cuts her off and asks Asunaro, "I'm a qualified detective myself. Why would you want me to work for you?" Asunaro replies, telling him that Kishiro is the reason he is who he is today. He explains that when he was in elementary school, he read an old article about him and couldn't look away. Kishiro was just a high school student, yet he surpassed all the adults with his intellect alone to rise to the top. Seeing him capture all the media's attention, Asunaro immersed himself in the field, dedicating himself to becoming just like him. And now that he's become stronger, it's time to repay that debt. He came here hoping he could be of use to him. Kishiro replies that he really appreciates his feelings, but he doesn't have the money to hire anyone. Asunaro responds that he'll work for free. In fact, his own work is going so well that he has become fabulously wealthy, and he actually intends to pay Kishiro a tuition fee. Kishiro is taken aback and asks, "Would you mind explaining in more detail? I don't quite understand." Mashiro cuts them off, yelling because Kishiro isn't including her in the discussion. She argues that as his first assistant, he should consult her on everything. Then she glares at Asunaro and tells him he's infuriating. She says he must have no common sense whatsoever, barging in unannounced. His desire to be like the old man isn't reason enough to become their assistant. Asunaro retorts that he is completely sure he can be more useful to the old man than she is. Mashiro decides to challenge him to a series of tests. Asunaro accepts, but first requests another cup of coffee, which she promptly goes to prepare for him. After that, Kishiro takes them to a courtyard where a girl named Kazamaki appears, introducing herself as Asunaro's assistant. She informs them that they will compete in 3 core areas of detective work: intelligence, deduction, and stamina. The first person to win 2 rounds will become Mr. Kishiro's official assistant. Everyone agrees except for Mashiro. She's furious, arguing it's not fair for Asunaro's own assistant to be setting up the test. Kazamaki tells her not to worry because she truly despises her master. Asunaro scoffs, telling her that he knows she's just being proud, but deep down she's infatuated with him. No one pays him any attention. After that, the first round begins, a contest of intelligence. Each contestant is given an identical wire puzzle, and the first one to solve it wins. They both begin working on the puzzle. Ezunyaro is incredibly fast, but Mashiro solves it first. Ezunyaro is shocked to see that she did it by cutting the wire. Ultimately, however, she is declared the winner. Ezunyaro gets angry, protesting that she cut the wire, but Kazamaki retorts that she only said whoever solves it first wins. And with that, the first test concludes. The next competition is a test of deduction skills. Kazamaki presents a board with a coded phrase of her own creation. The first to decipher what it says wins. She tells them to focus. Mashiro and Asunaro stare at the board. Mashiro thinks to herself that she can see what looks like the letter E here and there, so the word might be in English. But she can't get enough information from the other symbols, speculating they might just be random drawing. But in an instant, Asunaro solves it. The answer is P, and the symbols are the unlit segments of a 7-segment display. Kazamaki smiles, as his answer is correct. Mashiro, however, gets angry at him for solving it so fast, suggesting that he must have known the answer beforehand. Asunaro asks her if she even knows what pi is. She retorts that of course she does. After that, the final competition begins, stamina. Kazamaki shows them a map and explains the game, which she calls a stamp rally race. They must run to 3 locations around the park to collect stamps, and the first person to return to the starting point wins. Asunaro mocks Mashiro, telling her he's going to win and that he'll even help her look for another job afterward. The 2 of them start running through the park. While they are running, Kazumaki speaks with Kishiro. She tells him that Asunaro admires him deeply. It's all he ever talks about. He wants Kishiro to regain his former brilliance, and this desire to see him return to the spotlight is what has driven him this far. While they were talking, Mashiro and the other contestant were racing at top speed. Kishiro speaks to Kazumaki, saying, "That contestant, Asunaro, reminds me of myself when I was younger. I bet he's enjoying this phase to the fullest, where his skills are responding and growing so rapidly. He has no doubt he can go on like this forever. The only way he differs from my younger self is that he has full support. I never had anyone in my life, let alone a partner, to push me forward or rein me in when needed. So, I truly envy him. Talking with a partner your own age can be much easier." Kazumaki replied, "Yes, that's wonderful. I think I'll be fine staying here for a while longer. Your words are worth more than gold. And I know now that this girl, Mashiro, is the one who supports you. I'm truly happy that you two make a good pair. And please don't worry about Asunaro's side of the deal. Even if Mashiro loses, please don't fire her. Everything is fine, don't worry," he told her. "No one can beat Mashiro in a stamina competition. I know her capabilities well." We then see Mashiro and Asunaro, and he is ahead of her. He said to her, "What's the matter, girl? Is your breathing getting terribly ragged? I've trained for any outcome, no matter the task. You can't beat me, girl." Mashiro talks to herself, thinking, "What's wrong? My body feels so heavy. If I lose, I won't be able to stay with the old man." She then gets angry and says, "I'll never let that happen." She begins to unload excess weight from her body. The weights were numerous and heavy. She takes off at a crazy speed, refusing to give up no matter what. Her opponent is stunned because she was carrying so many things, but once she got rid of them, she launched forward like a hypersonic rocket. The scene flashes back to the past when her trainer was telling her, "Well done, kid, for enduring all this harsh training. You've completed every lesson. There's nothing more I can teach you." She told him, "Master, I want to be a very good and qualified detective." In returning to the present, Mashiro has won a great victory over her opponent. He said to her, "I lost today, but next time, I will compete against you with all my might and learn from my mistakes." She replied nonchalantly, "All right, we'll see what you can do." He told them, "Fine, I'll be waiting for that day, but for now, I will leave." Mashiro then remembers that her master is broke and says to him, "Master, if you had made that man your assistant, you would have gotten a lot of money." He places a hand on her head and says, "I don't want it. As long as you attract money for me, I don't need anyone else, and you attract so much money, I could buy another house with it." Realizing he is completely broke, she lends him some money. At that moment, her rival returns. She is startled by him and says, "What brought you back here? Why are you here?" He says, "I'm here today to give the master and my friend some gifts." Kishiro tells him, "You shouldn't have gone to all this trouble." After that, the scene shifts to Kishiro talking with Asunaro, who tells him, "Actually, a stalker has been following me recently. Whenever I'm alone, I get this indescribable feeling of eyes staring at me. I've tried to chase the person, but they're too fast, so I haven't been able to catch them. I have a high profile, so maybe I have some extremist fans or haters?" The master says, "All right, I'll take this job." The scene then shifts as they begin the surveillance case. Asunaro notices that a certain man doesn't seem to be exercising, but is wearing running earbuds and watching everyone. Asunaro is then shocked to see a woman in a car, filling it with cat supplies, and strangely, her husband has the face of a dog. Everyone is perplexed by his behavior and agrees they would never want to live with him. A little later, Mr. Nagumo Sensei notices that a suspicious person has indeed been following him all this time, an individual dressed in concealing clothes that hide their face. He calls Asunaro and tells him to move quietly to a location he will direct him to. The man who is tracking him appears and follows him until they reach a secluded area. At that point, Asunaro turns to him and says, "The place is surrounded. You're a big fool. Why were you following me?" The person claims he wasn't doing that and tries to escape. Mr. Nagumo Sensei appears and says, "I once received a request to get rid of a bear that was ruining someone's field." While Sensei is busy talking, the person dodges past him and flees, causing Sensei to fall to the ground, hurting his ankle. But then Mashiro stands in the person's way, furious and determined to stop him no matter what. The unknown person tries to distract her, saying, "I see Morofushi throwing a hammer over there." As she focuses on that spot, the person escapes. Sensei realizes that this person knows what Mashiro is interested in and must have been watching them all for a long time. He then orders Kazumaki-san to catch the person. At the right moment, she throws a dress on him and they finally catch him. When they uncover his face, they find that it's Nezu. Everyone is shocked. Defending himself, Nezu tells them, "You've got it all wrong. I'm not a stalker. I just ran because you all looked so serious and it was kind of scary." He then points at Asunaro, accusing him of being the stalker. He's been hovering around the agency, staring at it for about a month. Whenever Big Brother goes out, he follows him. It's obvious he's the stalker. Asunaro denies this. Kazumaki asks, "Sir, what is the meaning of this? What went wrong?" He says, "I was merely observing for the right moment to introduce myself to Sensei. I also thought for future reference that I should figure out his patterns and so on. Who could call such consideration stalking? In unison, everyone says, "We definitely call that stalking," and they all glare at him with angry, menacing eyes. To distract them, Asunaro throws off his clothes and dashes away. Nizu quickly runs to catch him. Who is this person, really, and what does he truly want? Find out in the next episode, but first we ask that you please subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all our new content.